Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and lately, because I haven't done any videos on test boosters in a very long time, in fact I don't think I've covered that this year in 2014, a lot of people are asking me about test boosters. And in fact, the two that I'm getting the most questions about, and it seems to be because they're very popular on YouTube, they're being marketed on YouTube, they're being sold on YouTube, and so these are the ones that I'm being asked about the most because I have a YouTube channel, and they are Barracuda and Isotest DA3. Now, I'm not going to disparage these products in any way, even though you guys know my stance on test boosters, but what I'm going to look at is what does the science say about the ingredients. Now, people can argue all day long, oh, well, you know, something doesn't need science to prove that it boosts testosterone or to build muscle. We can go off anecdote. No, that's fucking stupid. If you put something into your body that is supposed to have an anabolic effect, a scientist should be able to measure it. And if they test it and they don't find it, it doesn't work. Because we do this with all anabolic steroids and growth hormone and IGF-1 and mechanical growth factor. All of these, we've studied them. We know what they do. Medical doctors study these. There's a real interest in finding anabolic components and anabolic ingredients for medical reasons. There are very serious medical conditions that these sort of drugs save people's lives. So there is a vested interest in finding things that work. So this stuff has been tested. It has been studied. And both of these things, let's not break down the proprietary blends because proprietary blends are irrelevant. They're just fillers for the most part. Let's look at the primary active ingredient. We don't need to know what supports it, because if the primary active ingredient works or doesn't work, then that is what's going to determine the effectiveness of a product. Now, both of these test boosters are using the newest craze of the last few years as far as an over-the-counter test booster, and that substance is called D-aspartic acid. Well, interestingly enough, I am very, very familiar with the research history of D-aspartic acid because this sort of thing is interesting to me. Ties in directly to my interests, and I don't care whether it's sold as a supplement or not because I can get this stuff as a research substance for pennies versus what's in the test booster. So if it does something, I damn well need to know about it as somebody who has helped athletes with all this stuff historically. Because to me, this would be of interest in a bridging stack if it could pass drug tests for someone who's mixing peptides or HGH with something like this. During a period of time when they're subject to drug testing, this is of interest to me. So I have studied it closely, and guess what? D-aspartic acid doesn't work. Now, some of the early research, very flawed research, showed that it boosted testosterone up to 30 or 40% in certain people, but here's your kicker. A 30 to 40% boost in testosterone, if you're in the normal range, will not produce an anabolic effect, will generally not speed up your recovery from training, and probably will not increase your sex drive. And if I personally wanted to make a fake test booster, I could add things that would boost sex drive independent of testosterone. Because if you're in the normal range, fluctuations in testosterone have very, very little effect on your sex drive or performance. Placebo and psychological things can, so if you think you're going to have one, you could have one as a placebo, but I would be more inclined to mess with something that would alter your dopamine levels, because that's the real ticket. That's better than messing with testosterone for people who are healthy. Messing with their dopamine levels is really a more effective means of improving libido. So dopamine levels in the brain, that's what I would make a product to mess with if I wanted to fake a test booster, because people seem to think that if they get a boost in sex drive, the test booster works. That's how I would fuck people over and con them if I were going to be a con man to do this, because they shouldn't be affecting your sex drive. If they do, it's placebo or they put something else in it not related to testosterone. But the research, because the research has been questionable and scientists do want to know if this stuff works because it could have medical applications, it's been studied more closely, and I'll link for you guys one of the most important studies. It's a more recent one. It was a very in-depth study, and it was used on people who lift because they wanted to know not just does it improve testosterone, but for all of you who are taking something like that, you want to know, is it going to build muscle or is it going to improve performance? Because if something boosts your testosterone, that doesn't guarantee, because things can boost testosterone and lower anabolic effect. I mean, I can give you a SERM or an AI that will reduce your intramuscular IGF-1, but it will boost testosterone. You won't make any gains off of it. So the question is not, does it boost testosterone? Does it improve your gains? So they studied all of these factors. I'll link the study below, and I'm going to link examine.com's review of D-aspartic acid and the research also. So I'll link both of those for you guys. But in this study, they studied it for 28 days at the recommended dose that people who produce test boosters recommend people take it at. And they found that after 28 days of it, there was no statistical significant change in testosterone levels. There was no statistical significant change in muscle mass for training individuals who were lifting weights, and there was no statistical significant change in performance or strength. So people taking it for a month didn't boost their testosterone, they didn't get bigger, they didn't get stronger. And most of the studies studying it have found that it doesn't boost testosterone. Though the ones that showed no significant boost outweigh the ones that show one. So it tells you there's something wrong with the design flaws of the few that are showing it. And I don't want to get into all that. The original study, I saw some big problems with the design of the study that would suggest other implications beyond the D-aspartic acid boosting testosterone. But it's too much to get into. We have better research today, and it's showing it doesn't work. And it goes back to the other point I always make. If people want to manipulate their anabolic hormones and they're wanting to manipulate their endocrine system, they are taking the same risks with their body as if they were to use anabolic steroids. And people say, oh, it may not. Well, yeah, they can. Things that cause you to produce more of a certain thing can shut you down. They can affect your production in the long term. And that happens with a lot of systems in the body. When you overstimulate certain glands and things to produce various substances, it can shut down their natural production. You're risking all the same health risks. If you were to take a test booster that worked, you're risking all of the same health risks, like elevated blood pressure, hematocrit levels, everything, as if you took an anabolic or just injected testosterone. So you're effectively trying to do the same thing. You clearly don't want to be natty. And so why would people pay for these expensive things? That's what I don't get. We know that if D-aspartic acid worked the way it was supposed to and you got a 40% increase in testosterone, that isn't significant. And these products that I'm seeing here, they're ranging from around $28 up to about $50 per month. Well, pharmaceutical grade testosterone is easy to get. Any country in the world. It's legal in my country, so don't even pull that legal card. It's legal in half the countries that are subscribed to my YouTube channel. So it's not even a legal issue for most of them. And in terms of US dollars, you pay around, I can get anywhere in the world, whether it's US, Canada, UK, France, whatever. I can get an amp of pharmaceutical grade testosterone, and I can find it within a week anywhere I go. It wouldn't be hard. This is easy for me to get for about €3 or around $5 per amp. 1 amp a week is enough to increase someone's normal testosterone 2 to 2.5 fold. So you're looking at 100 to 150% increase in testosterone instead of 40 for $20 a month. And people say, well, what about side effects and AIs? Well, that would only require a low dose of AIs, maybe $5 worth of Arimidex a month. So you're looking at like $25. If you want to double it, you're looking at like $45 to $50 if you want to go 4 times the normal level, maybe 5 times the normal level, for 2 amps a week. So by proportion, it's simply cheaper for people to go the direct route. And I've heard, and many experts will tell you over the years, if you're wanting the only reliable method to boost testosterone levels is to just pen testosterone. And that's just the reality. And these products are trying to sell people a supposedly over-the-counter legal version. People say, yeah, but you know, it's not legal in my country. So what you're suggesting, this is just a good alternative because it's legal in my country. And here's the thing, it may be legal and it may be more expensive, but it doesn't work. So why would you spend more money for a replacement or an alternative to real testosterone when it doesn't actually do anything? I mean, if it actually did something and it's a legal issue for you, okay, maybe. But in this case, the research says it doesn't do anything. So at that point, basically, if you're throwing away $40 or $50 a month for a steroid replacement that's illegal but doesn't do anything, and you now know that the data shows it doesn't do anything, you're pretty much stupid at that point. Don't be stupid. Don't be conned, because as they say, a fool and his money shall soon part. Alright guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.